stand locations. What are your considerations on stand locations, and what makes you choose particular stand site over another? Obviously the wind plays a factor. That's deer hunting 101. But what are some of the other more nuanced things that go into where to decide to, or do you always hunt out of stands, or do you hunt out of the ground?
No, I hate hunting out of the ground, off the ground with a bow. Mm-hmm. People do it; they can get away with it. I really like to be up in a tree. They pick movement out like crazy, so I'm always in a tree.
Mm-hmm. All right, so hunting out of stands, and how do you choose those stand locations?
Well, when I find a deer, I'll move my cameras around. I'll look for good trees. I don't care if it's the only thing I don't do is put them in the bottom of ravines where you get scent that swirls. A lot of people's sign looks good down there. I know it does, but stay out of there. So don't do it.
Yeah, there's more to fighting the wind than just wind direction topography.
Yep, stay up on top.
Okay.
Springtime is a great time to know where great bedding areas are. You can follow deer trails. You can see the beds in the snow. You know where those bedding areas are. And then if you can get close to that bedding area via creek or a good entrance point, go for it. Pick a tree out. Sometimes I'll tie a ribbon around a tree when I'm out shed hunting, and I'll know that that's a bedding area, and I know my properties inside and out, and I'll try to capitalize on a buck cruising by a bedding area, stuff like that. I have some good luck on field edges, old dried up ponds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When a buck feels secure, he'll let his guard down a little bit. Honeysuckle, it's the last thing that loses its leaves here. They love it. It's good cover. I look for stuff like that. And the does like bedding there too. I'll hunt the does. I know where they want to be, and I usually know where the bachelor bucks are, and try to get in the middle somewhere. I will hang a stand any point in time during the season. I'm not worried about blowing things out. You got to be in the right spot. Last year I saw my deer, and it was like November 8th, and he was up on this hillside. I moved closer in the middle of the day, and finally by November 14th, I was in the right tree, and he came out and he hit a scrape, and I nailed him. So, I mean, I'm aggressive in that aspect. He wasn't ever coming down that hill. I had to go up, so, and I wasn't scared of blowing. I didn't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
So I'm aggressive.
Mm-hmm. How many stands will you have out in the season?
Good Lord. I just hung 2 the other day, and then I had 1 last week. I've got about 6 or 7 properties around that I run, and I have probably at least 2 stands, if not, if it's a bigger property, I might have 4. I try to leave options available on as much as I can. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So are these stands all in different areas, or do you set up multiple stands kind of in the same spot or for the same deer so that you can hunt different conditions?
A deer that I'm hunting right now, I've got 5 stands set for him, and they're different wind directions. And sometimes you got to remember, if you're hunting a deer from year to year, you are probably going to have to switch it up from year to year because food sources are changing. Where he was last year, I mean, he still is pretty close, but he really likes corn. This deer loves corn. He don't like the beans. So I had to transition to where the cornfield is at the other end of the farm this year. And if I don't kill him, I've got 2 stands set up at the other end where I know he'll probably be there next year at that other end because of the crop rotation. So, and if I know I'm hunting a specific deer, I'll hunt out of climbers. because climbers are so comfortable, and I know I'm going to be there the whole time. I want to be a little bit comfortable. I'll never fall asleep in a stand. I'm afraid I'll miss something.
So what do
A calling opportunity, as I like to call it.
right? What do you do to stay awake?
Well, now I'll text every now and then, but I'll read magazines, I'll read books. I read The Hunger Games a couple years ago. I just pick something, read it. Yeah, something to pass the time. I usually, as dull and a sandwich as you can pack, and nothing on it, just 2 slices of bread, sticks to the top of your mouth when you eat it. But yeah, it's pretty simple.
What strategies are you implementing there to get them within safe bow range?
I might do a little light rattling. I try to get a sense for their attitude, if they're a passive buck or if they're an aggressive buck, and if it starts getting around that good time when it's pre-rut and I have the right wind and I know I have an aggressive buck, he's in big trouble. I mean, if he walks at all during the day, I'll probably call him in. And yeah, mostly had great luck with rattling and snort wheezes and grunts. Really good luck.
Yeah. Particular products that you prefer over others as far as calls and stuff?
No, I don't use calls.
Yeah.
I don't use them. I use my own vocalization. I think
Really?
that helps a lot.
Okay.
Because it's not something on a shelf that every guy's sitting there buying the next greatest thing, and then everybody's going out in the woods and they're blowing those calls and everything sounds the same from 300-400 yards away, trying to fool somebody. I use real antlers. I don't use black racks. I don't use. I have a rattle bag. It's for convenience mostly. It's small, but and I have won it at a contest. But no, I call with my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me I don't know. It took me practicing off and on about a year to learn how to call, and I don't know if I call. I don't know if it sounds that great or whatever, but
it must work.
It must work. I just think it sounds different. It sounds more realistic.
Yeah.
The vocalization, it comes from the throat, and I've had bucks out there that I do that, and I get the double tail flick and cross their legs and start posturing and come right in. It's game time.
Yeah.
I will use a can call.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about that. A doe bleat is way harder to replicate, so I will use a can call to mix it up. I'll throw that in there every now and then, and just to make it sound like there's a doe around too.
Yeah.
But that's about the only thing I'll take to the stand.